Welcome in the arena. My name's Allison Klein, and I am delighted to be with Chen Li back in the studio with us. He's VP of Sales of Data Center and Enterprise at Giga Computing. Welcome back, Chen.
Thank you so much, Allison. It's an honor and pleasure to be here with you.
So, Chen, Gigabyte has had such a long history of innovation within the data center, but I'm sure there are some folks who are listening who are a little bit unaware of the company. Can you talk a little bit about how long you've been delivering infrastructure for data centers and what segments of infrastructure are you targeting for deployments today?
Yeah, absolutely. Gigabyte basically started out as a consumer product manufacturer. We did motherboard, video cards, and so on and so forth. But around, in the late 1999, around that time frame, our CEO or the chairman of the board decided that server or enterprise business is the wave of the future. So he created a new division called NCBU, Network Communication Business Unit. And in 2000, the unit became established, and our current CEO, Itae Lee, it's heads that division. As we grew forward, shortly after the unit got started, we were approached by a company called Google. Back then, nobody really knew
Wow.
who they are, and we helped them develop their open compute data center. So that is our first foray into the data center business. And then as we move forward, of course, we've done a lot of CM work. We've done a lot of manufacturing work for different type of entity. Um, we continue to work with Google and a company like HP and so on and so forth. And of course, we have our own channel market that was established in 2006. It was when I joined the US team. And I've been with the company ever since. So 19, almost 20 years. And we have, continued to grow. This year, we're forecast to finish the year around 8 billion US dollars.
Oh, that's crazy.
And yeah, I mean, the AI business is definitely crazy, right? So, we move our data center business. We do work with a company like Northern Data in Europe, which we help them with their data center. And also we have worked with CSPs such as CoreWeave or Lambda. And, we are really focused on here in the US on more the neo cloud business. I think those are where a lot of the business that need support and help from a company like Gigabyte or Giga
Well,
Computing.
yeah. Yeah, what's interesting is that you're using some examples here of some of the most sophisticated, technology, deployers on the planet, and, this conversation is about broad enterprise, and I think that what we're seeing is this trend that as enterprise data centers evolve, um, companies like Gigabyte are making inroads into these environments. And I guess my question for you is how do you see yourself as a strategic supplier to enterprises today?
So Gigabyte is not just a manufacturer of electronic goods. Uh,
Mhm.
as we move forward and understanding the server market, the data center market, and how we support the enterprise business, we also build a infrastructure team. So the infrastructure team is here to help any enterprise that require a white glove service to help them get going in building a data center even from scratch. So we have the capability of helping enterprises, in either medical, in finance, in oil and gas, whatever and required to build their own rack or help their data center become more AI friendly.
I'm glad that you mentioned financial services because I think I could argue that FSI has historically been really foot forward in terms of their use of
Mm.
technology. What drives financial service tech utilization in your mind?
Well, we have not broke into the financial service as largely as we can, but we do have a lot of system integrator partners that have broken into the financial market with Gigabyte product. Companies such as Penguin Solutions is one of them that has done a lot of financial work. Sierra in Canada, or what they call Hypertech nowadays. We have worked with them to break into the market, and also we have done some work. Uh, for the high frequency trading, right? This is something really interesting market there because they always overclock their
Mhm.
CPU. Uh, so there's no way to do a server or enterprise system with overclocking because Intel or AMD does not support that. So we ended up doing a consumer product with IPMI and server management to help them, get to where they need to get to.
I love that example, and it's something that I think about all the time when I, think about what makes FSI stand out, and it's that need for performance and really performance driving actual revenue and profit based on how quickly they can, drive those, high frequency trades. When you
Hmm.
think about the need for performance, one of the things that comes up is latency, in
Right.
terms of missed financial return. How are you performance tuning those systems to deliver top performance for these types of implementation targets?
So now a lot of these really depends on the technology that the certain customers using. Some of them are CPU heavy, and some of them could be GPU heavy.
Mhm.
And then we have dealt with company that both use both GPU and CPU. But right now, we see most financial business are going through the CPU side of the house. But adding a GPU to their financial service data center and their infrastructure does help them to get better calculation, faster latency to bring the customer more information quickly, especially in high frequency trading or just somebody who's doing day trading or doing the stock market, right? And that being said, having AI will definitely help the financial institute, especially the second tier or the smaller local banks, streamline their manpower to be able to save more money, save their budget, and increase their revenue.
Really good point. I think the other place that I wanted to go with this is financial services is heavily regulated, maybe more regulated than any industry out there. And they have a very specific focus on privacy, understandably so. How does Gigabyte approach privacy concerns for your customers and build key technologies into the solutions that you're delivering to help them on their journey?
So now that I'm gonna bring in OCP. So OCP has a new format called DCSCM. It brings a lot of security measure through that platform. So it's an add-on card that we can add to our server, which is DCSCM capable. And people who understand DCSCM will understand that will bring a lot more security to it. And also at the same time, there are things called like a sovereign AI, right? A
Mhm.
company like Global AI in New York, right? They are
Mhm.
specialized in sovereign AI. So that is something that's also important. Now, we're not, doing any type of a clustering with, multiple user on it, right? Everything is it's locked, for
Great.
the particular bank or financial institute to run. And also at the same time, you know, going back to the DCSCM, if the financial institute instead of doing a cloud service, they can take a look at having their own data center, then we can help them build a secure data center as we move forward. And people have always said that AI can help with security, but it could
Mhm.
also be very dangerous with security. So that's something that we kind of look forward to see what we're going to run into as this become more mature.
I love that because you talk about how it really needs a hardware root of trust in any
Mhm.
security, and I'm glad that you guys are, ahead of the game there. And you mentioned AI, so I'm glad we've made it this far before we talked about AI, but, 2025 is such a significant milestone year for enterprise proliferation of AI across use cases. And we featured folks from the financial service industry on the platform over the last few months talking about use cases associated with AI in finance. How are you looking at delivering AI capability into your portfolio? And I know that you've been really aggressive here. Um, can you talk about the unique technologies that you've developed for these high performance systems?
Well, right now, I think the biggest thing that we're going after is high coverage DLC. So instead of just cooling CPU and the GPU, we're cooling entire system, a 95% coverage, and then
Cool.
that is the new technology we're heading towards, right? A whisper quiet liquid cool system. Also, we're looking at is delivering some technologies, adding a, two-phase cooling solution to the current DLC. Right, so those kind of capability can bring peace of mind, especially for institute that doesn't want to deal with their server and their cluster and their data center as much as they need be. Right now, if with using a two-phase type of a technology, you literally eliminate any liquid damage because once the liquid gets onto a bore, it kind of evaporate.
Right.
10 years ago, when 3N came out with Viking, we built a server and dunk it into that fluid, and just to prove the point, I literally threw my iPhone into that liquid. It sunk
Uh-huh.
all the way to the bottom, and people were calling my iPhone. They can see a ring inside. So the technology is amazing when it comes to cooling. And I think cooling can, bring us one step closer to a green environment. And also, most importantly, is the infrastructure team. We can help the customer build their data center, operate and run their data center, and then we can continue to help them and support them. In various way. I think in the future for a company like us, it's more service that we can provide.
That's a really good way of putting it because there's so many integrated technologies going into this
Yes.
infrastructure at this point. And you hit on cooling, but the other one I wanted to talk to you about is new approaches to rack cabling because things are getting very complex. And I think that you've delivered some very cool support technologies to ensure that infrastructure can be deployed at scale and deployed in high densities without something looking like an octopus coming out of those server racks. Tell me about how you're doing that.
So we are building rack level management system. So that will one eliminate a lot of the cable to the rear.
Mhm.
And now we're not talking about like a GB300. We're talking about maybe a standard rack with B300 or even just inferencing machine. I mean, for the customer, right? So when we're building racks like that, we try to eliminate as much cable in the back by using more of a centralizing cabling for management. So that right there can eliminate some of the cabling work.
I know you've got a deep collaboration with AMD. How
Oh,
do you
big
see
time.
them as a foundational partner for an expansive growth in enterprise?
AMD and Gigabyte went back a long way. When Naples first arrived, Lisa Su went to visit Computex in Taipei. A lot of the manufacturers showed off their AMD product line, but
Mhm.
four or five, maybe five or six. I mean, when she walked into our showroom, we had 12 or more server, different type of server, 2U, 4.0, enterprise, 1U, 2U, GPU server, all based on AMD. We were there to help AMD with their Epic launch, and then we continue to be a strong partner with AMD to push the AMD product line, including the upcoming Helios, which is going to be pretty exciting. What's coming down the pipeline?
Mhm. And of course, I think that, you mentioned Naples. When you think about gen on gen, the fact that they've delivered 6 gens now in sequential
Yes.
order with, increased performance and capability, it's pretty impressive.
It is, and I hate to go back to the Naples time, but a lot of my customer back then is like, well, I want to see the roadmap. I can't believe they're going to go that far.
Mhm.
But look at where they are now today. They are the go-to processor for the enterprise business, right?
Yeah, it's
Um, I,
pretty incredible.
I hate to say it, 70% of my business are all AMD on CPU. And with the inferencing market coming up, right, then now there's a big opportunity for AMD to be able to bring their PCI car into the foray, and they're working on you know different options. I don't know if I could speak on it, so I'm just gonna leave it kind of vague. They are working on different options in order to supply that market as well. Inferencing is going to be a big opening for other manufacturer to jump into this AI market.
Now, I can't wait to see what comes next from you, Chen, but we are out of time. So,
Oh,
I have one more question for you.
okay.
Um, where can folks find out more about the great server platforms that you've been talking about and engage with your team, if they've got questions about the solutions you've got for the financial services industry?
Yeah, so on www.gigabyte.com, you can go to the enterprise side, and we'll lead the viewer to Giga Computing website, and right there is where you have where to buy from different type of regions. So you can definitely look at our product line from that point on. Um, Also, at the same time, reach out to our information page, and then we can help direct the customer to the proper team to be able to help them.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here today with us. It's
Thank you.
always a pleasure to have you on the show, Chad. I love our
I
conversations.
I look forward to it again.